Hello, YouTube. Scamp the Wolf here, and as you can tell by the title of this stream, I earlier today I saw Raya and the Last Dragon, and I think it's very good, very good. And I'm glad that I got to go to a movie this after the movie theaters have been closed for like months. I mean, I saw Tenet twice, but like I wanted to get back to the movie theaters because I missed them and all that. And then, of course, Raya and the Last Dragon. I was excited for that. And then I saw it today. Earlier today, I saw it. And yes, it's very good. And it's highly recommended if you want to see that movie. I plan to do a review of it on my DeviantArt account. And I also have, and I didn't bring this up previously, but I have another account somewhere that I do reviews on Blogger. I have an account on Blogger that I post reviews and stuff on, like mainly music reviews. But I do like some. I have a Scamp the Music fan blog. I have a miscellaneous blog. I have an animation blog. If I did the Raya and the Last Dragon review, it would most likely be in the animation fan blog. Scamp the animation fan. Although, like, what's on there now is rants and like all that stuff. But yeah, Raya and the Last Dragon, thumbs up. If I were Siskel and Ebert, I would give it a thumbs up because it's very good. I mean, most of the movies I do see end up being pretty good. It's not very difficult to get a thumb. It's not very hard to get to get a thumbs down. Why am I saying it? It's not very hard? It's not very easy for me to get a thumbs down on a movie. Like every now and then one will show up, but like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, for example, that movie is terrible, but every now and then most times it is a good movie, even if it's like in the 7 out of 10 tier or it's not nearly as good. You know, like because I'm more of a casual moviegoer, even all my life I've just been a casual like movie goer. I'm not usually like a reviewer of like every movie in existence, like channels like Brad Jones's Cinema Snob or like the channel Awesome People or like even people like Jeremy Johns and Chris Stuckman. I'm not like those. I just like go see movies on my own time, like whatever because I'm more casual to it. And I do like, even though I do have an affinity for movies, I have a DVD collection and a VHS collection too, of course. Probably know that by now. But I am more into music, but I am definitely a music fan, movie fan as well, because that was one of my first special interests was movies. Like I was just fascinated, I guess, by you could see them and by the concept of theaters, basically, and like that just kind of I would read the newspapers all the time, the Showtime section when I was like 7 years old. That was a good time in my life, even though it was mostly kids movies that I saw. Like, believe it or not, I saw The Country Bears in theaters when I was like 7. I saw other movies. So yeah, it was definitely good. But like recently, with this whole shutdown, like movie theaters haven't been open. There was a brief period in like September and like October when they were open because they hoped Tenet would bring in the big box office numbers, and it turned out that it didn't do that. And I still think Tenet's a really good movie, very good. But like Raya and the Last Dragon, like is still really good as well. Like I do like the themes and stuff that it has going for it, like all the stuff about trust and stuff like the whole like over like the theme about it is like trust and like it's kind of like a typical story, but it's done. It's not done in a way where it's like, oh, this happens. Like, oh, well, this plot point came from a mile away or something like that. I don't like when movies use generic plot points. Like, I should say when they use them poorly. I should say because it's not that I don't like the cliches. It's just that they have to do them in a way that doesn't make them generic. And I don't think Ryan the Last Dragon did anything generic in its story. I still think there's a lot of good stuff in that movie. Like even I know it's not gonna be for everybody. I assume there's people that aren't gonna like it whatsoever. I don't know, but yeah, it's still pretty good. Definitely a bright spot in this pandemic. Definitely. Um, yeah, and I think Sisu is a great character and all that stuff. Like, and ironically enough, even some of the ones that are like the funny characters aren't necessarily that bad either. Like, I think they're pretty good. I like the fight scenes. I like the animation. Like Disney has been killing it with their animation, even in the movies I haven't seen yet, or movies I don't really care about seeing. But this one, the animation is really good. I think definitely it's how far we've come in like 26 years, 25, 26 years. Definitely, yeah. So I think Raya is a good character too, along with Sisu as well. Like I should show you something like on the shelf, on the DVD shelf, and we're going. I have a Sisu plush. I know I'm 25 and I should be having like you would think I would be like into masculine stuff, but it doesn't really matter to me what you're into. Like I like this character, so what? I mean, like, and you can also see I have other toys up there as well, but like I usually like have them as display pieces because I kind of like have like display pieces and stuff like that. And that Sisu plush you're looking at right now is primarily a display piece. I don't know where it would fit because I don't know. And I also have a McDonald's toy, like of like if you can't tell what that is, that's her in human form. But like, great, now I'm sounding like a little girl. Please forgive me, but I just like this character. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, like I'm into a lot of different things, and this just happens, and like Disney movies and all that stuff just happens to be one of them because I feel like they're not specifically aimed at one audience. Like, for example, like they're not into like all the princess movies aren't about like for only for little girls. I mean, the marketing certainly is, but like anybody can watch something like Little Mermaid or like Beauty and the Beast and like it a lot and like Frozen and all that stuff. Even though I'm not huge into Frozen, I mean my brother is, but like that's proof that right there that like anybody, no matter how masculine or whatever, can be into Disney. And I just happen to like Sisu a lot as a character. That's what it is. So if you're gonna make fun of me for having a Sisu plush, then well, then think about that. Because look at me, look, shaved head, by the way. Like I have a mustache, beard. I'm 25. I'm wearing a Tool shirt. I have a big music collection. Most of it's like rock and metal and all that stuff. You would think I would be into just rock and metal and all that. And that's true. And you would also think I would just be into like action movies and like PG-13 and R-rated movies and stuff. But no, I'm a big animation fan as well. Like, and I want good stuff for animation because I want like good animated stuff like to come out because man, and like this decade and then the last decade, the 2010s, like animation, like the medium hasn't been dying out because I think CG is a great medium, but like like the writing has just suffered a lot. It's all about bathroom jokes in a lot of these movies nowadays. Like Illumination really ruined everything, I think. Like, and all the movies that were doing that before kind of ruined it. And there's not a lot of genuine like stuff out there. Even like modern shows can't go a certain amount of time without there being any gross out humor or something like that. Like even if it's only for like a brief moment and most of the time it just is very cheap and it's very unfunny. But I think Raya and the Last Dragon didn't really do that too much as like I thought it would. Everybody in the when the trailer came out, like the there was like a line about like, oh, it's gonna make digestion, whatever. The that end of the end of the trailer like made a lot of people kind of groan a little bit. But you know what? I'm glad that that kind of humor was mostly absent from this movie, and it shows that you can do something with effort. Like, and I'm not saying that like bathroom humor doesn't have any effort. It's just I've never been a fan of it. Like most people, it's very controversial. I've never really been a fan because I just the thing like I'm just not the kind of person to laugh at that kind of stuff, you know. But like it's I am happy to say that all the comic relief in Raya and the Last Dragon doesn't like bring it to a halt. Like and I don't really laugh at movies, but like I can see when the comedy works. And it's like an adventure comedy, it's lighthearted and all that stuff. And yeah, it does work for me. Definitely. Like and Disney is continuing very much to innovate. Unlike, I don't know, like companies like DreamWorks, like with their trolls nonsense, but all these companies with their like forgettable looking animated movies and all that stuff. Like I think Disney is really doing things right, even in this time. Even they've had some misfires. I can't deny that, but like for the most part, there's been a lot of good stuff to come from Disney. Like like their original animated movies usually hit it well, even if some of them aren't necessarily great or anything like that. Like I just there isn't much in others, like even DreamWorks or even Sony. I know Blue Sky's shut down, but like Blue Sky, like I don't know really. Like a lot of those seem to just make filler animated movies that would only cater to like little kids. Like I feel like a lot of like Trolls World Tour like stuff only like I feel like that only caters to little kids. I'm not saying that parents and adults don't. There are like adults that are like not a fan of them, but I just think the people who make those films have little kids in mind, so that's why you see a lot of that bad humor, bad cultural references, and all that stuff. And like I'm not in favor of that. I want animation to go somewhere in a unique and honest direction. And movies like Raya and the Last Dragon definitely give me hope for that. And this new Pixar one, Luca, coming out. Although I'm not too interested, I can say simply that it is something that gives me hope. Like it will probably make little kids happy, I think. Like and their parents too. Like parents even more so because that's when an animated movie really does a good job. Is when it like can cater to both, in my opinion. Like in animation itself, like the reason I'm into animation isn't just because cute characters and all that stuff. I just like the technique behind it. I just like how unique the world like brings a sort of like life to something. Like even in modern movies where there's a lot of CG in like live action stuff, like animated movies, like I just feel where the world building and a lot of animate good animation at least is something that's eye catching to me. It's great. Like, and even though a lot of animated films that I'm a fan of are like animal related, like I'm a big Lady and the Tramp fan, I'm a big Zootopia fan, and all that stuff. Like, I'm a big Balto fan too, if you didn't know. But like, even though that's the case, I still like. I don't judge it simply based on oh, it has a dog in it. It gets a 10 out of 10. That's stupid in my opinion. Like, I saw Arctic Dogs. Like, I know, ha ha ha. I know the bad movie that everyone hated, but I thought it was just okay. But I can't ignore the fact that it isn't that great of a movie. It's not the best movie in the world or anything like that. Certainly not. It is like Zootopia kills it in my opinion, but like I just like animation as a concept. That's why I'm a lot nicer to like good animated films, and certain to the genre of animation as a whole because like I just like facial expressions and all that. Good facial expressions on characters, like that's really what gets me in a lot of animated things. Like, so if you ask me, I think animation is probably one of my favorite things ever. Not just movies, but animation as a whole. It's just that now there's not a lot of good animation to be found, you know, because it's all just for little kids to sell merch and stuff. Like you can walk into a Target and you can see a ton of Trolls World Tour dolls and the DVDs are everywhere and all that stuff. Like and they don't really care about quality or anything like that and not being cultural and not being ridiculous. But I'm glad that there are people out there in all that actually like in all animation companies that actually care. Like there's recent examples of stuff outside of Disney doing very well. Like Spider-Man, that one Spider-Man movie far from like no Spider into the Spider-Verse or whatever. That one I heard was really good. Um I'm trying to think of another non-Disney one. I'm not including Isle of Dogs into this because that's more adult oriented, not just for kids or anything like that. Um, I know that the Shrek movies, but that's obvious from DreamWorks. I'm not really sure at this point what's good and what's not. Like, I think Disney and Pixar just do things better, in my opinion. Like, I'm not dismissing the other companies because I believe there are talented people working at those companies. It's just that I just don't see it. Like, you gotta make me like convinced that these are actually talented people. Like, they gotta show it. They don't have to just do like jokes about going to the bathroom or whatever. Like, you know, like you gotta do more than just that. And that I know that I'm going off at this point a lot, but I feel like movies like Raya and the Last Dragon really are much better. Like, and they really know what they're doing. Like with that, like Disney just like has really got a lot of good stuff to choose from. Granted, I am more of an older animation fan than a newer one, but like there's newer stuff that's good as well, definitely. And Raya and the Last Dragon is definitely good on that. So yeah, I just wanted to jump on this stream real quick to explain all of that stuff. of the Raya and the Last Dragon stuff. Like, definitely good. Definitely a very good animated movie. Very good. Now, if you want my future plans on it, like movie going, like I plan to see Wonder Woman 1984 because that is playing out here. Like that, like, and that's definitely up on my radar. Also, Godzilla versus Kong is coming out. Like a lot of people are really excited about that. Black Widow's finally going to come out. There's that Cruella film because I'm a big 101 Dalmatians fan, and I just want to see how this works. I want to see how Emma Stone does as Cruella. I think that would be pretty cool. I haven't seen the trailer yet, if there is one, but I'll probably do that soon. And then there's other films coming out. There's some, I know Peter Rabbit 2 is supposed to come out. Like I know, of course, there's James Bond's new movie No Time to Die coming out. There's just a lot of stuff coming out that we missed the opportunity to see last year because of course everything got pushed back. So yeah. So those are just some of the movies I plan to see afterwards. And will I stream and talk about them? Maybe. I don't know. But one thing is definitely for sure that, and that's I'm excited to have movie theaters back. And hopefully Regal opens up soon because Regal is one of my favorite theaters. Actually, is my favorite theater. Actually, Reading is just open right now because I think Regal is waiting for more big budget like blockbusters to come out. I mean, that's okay, but like, whatever. So, yeah, that's pretty much the stream. That's pretty much all I have to say in this stream. Francesca Sophie TV says hello. I don't know who that is, but hello back, I guess. You're leaving just as I'm about to close the stream, I guess, so whatever. You can always watch it back. So, yeah. This is Scamp the Wolf signing out. Take care.